So glad you're with us on Conquering Retirement. Brad Johansson with Northern Alliance Financial. President and CEO Lance Gilman and Jeremy Barnard. Gentlemen, nice to be back with you on the set.
Always great to be here with you, Brad. Another week of shows.
It's the best of the best, and we appreciate you all the time in joining us here as we talk about what a lot of people are wondering about. The idea is to educate you on a lot of different things, and the idea is that most of you have been saving one way. 401ks have been the way since the 80s, right? This is the way we're supposed to save. And then for the state of Maine, a lot of you in the Fed and state retirement system trying to navigate this as the rules change. We get cacophonious sounds throughout this time. Oh, you've never heard that? The idea that it's a discord or something that's offset. We've been offset by exactly what we've done in working towards something, and then we get distracted. Don't be distracted. Let's lead the way. Our 401k is still the way to go for most of us. Do we make a choice differently than what we've been told for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 decades maybe now?
It's a lot. Yeah. It is a lot, for sure.
Goes by quickly, doesn't it?
It slides by, but see, this is what we're told to do. And sometimes we get to the point of being told what to do, and we go, maybe we shouldn't have been doing this all along.
Well,
Give me the answer on the 401k question of how do I contribute there?
I wish it was a simple answer, right?
That's what I'd like. We want to simplify the whole thing.
Yeah, we treat 401ks like they're simple and that everybody should be doing them and that everybody's going to benefit from them. And the reality is, again, the answer to that is a lot more complex. It depends on a variety of factors, including where you are, where do you sit in the tax brackets now. And I love that you brought up that 401k started in the 80s. That's true. And it was meant primarily for higher wage earners.
Well, it worked at that point because we were in a different tax bracket, right? Mm-hmm. So it seemed good, and it was good for a little while.
Well, it was good when 401ks got introduced in the 80s. What happened first and foremost, pensions started to go by the wayside, and all kinds of money flooded into the stock market, buoying everybody. And that, for a couple of decades, I mean, there was some big blips on the screen during the 80s and 90s in the stock market. But generally speaking, wonderful years of growth. 401ks with company matches were high and doing great. That certainly has changed ever since in the 2000s, to say the least. We really want to take a more nuanced approach to 401ks and whether or not they're appropriate for you beyond the company match. Of course, the company match is 100% return. So yes on that, but beyond that, do you contribute more to a 401k? There's a nuanced response to that based on your current tax bracket.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I think the other major thing, a consideration that we have to look at is many times when people get into their 401k, what they don't really realize is that the one that's actually managing the 401k is them. Yeah. The account owner is managing their 401k. And when they started out, let's say they started out maybe 5, 10 years ago, they were contributing, and the people asked them, maybe when they signed up, how do you want this thing structured or allocated in terms of risk? And they said, man, I want to hit it out of the park. I want to go for it. Well, guess what? Now they're getting 2, maybe 5 years out from retirement, and nobody's really re-looking that risk component.
Yeah. Or the opposite extreme, Lance. What I've seen oftentimes is people aren't taking enough risk. Especially younger clients.
Right.
I can't tell you how many people I meet with, and I'm like, you're in your 30s, you think you're aggressive. This just happened with two of my clients, realizing that they're actually sitting in cash. They're not even invested at all.
Well, let me take that point. For a lot of people who you say, you want this allocated.
Yeah.
Look, when many people sign up for a job that they've been doing for a couple of decades, but they first signed on. Here's our 401k plan. Here's your first day. Here are the forms that you have to fill out. Would you like to participate in the 401k? Yes, I would. Okay, you'll see the form. Here are your choices for allocation. You can pick these and these and these and allocate.
Right.
And it's my first day of work.
Right, exactly.
So I go, I'll check here and I'll check here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm managing it, but I have no idea what box I'm checking.
It's a cruel system that
It
way,
is a
quite
cruel
honestly.
system.
So I guess it comes to the question then, if I've been doing this for a long time and now I'm approaching that age, which is that crucial 59 and a half, do I now have options where I said, you know what, I was checking these boxes. You just had 2 clients who said, I've been way too conservative. I'm in cash. I had no idea that I was doing this.
Right.
Are there options for me to better myself than what I'm doing managing my checking of the boxes that I did 20 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever it is that I go, how's my 401k doing? I don't appear to be managing it very well because I don't know what I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, 59 and a half is a real major marker in people's lives where they can start to make some significant changes in their 401ks in the sense that they can roll it out and create their own IRA account. Now, we want to be careful how you do that. You want to do that the right way because there are some pitfalls to avoid. But assuming, your 401k is not performing, maybe you don't have the best options in the world. Unfortunately, not all 401ks are created equal.
Right.
Some are better than others. But even if you have, some options, maybe you want to roll it out and make different choices. Maybe you want to be in a real heavy commodities portfolio, but your 401k doesn't allow that. You can roll it out and then you can invest it your way, or you can also look for other guidance and from experts and people who obsess in this world.
Yeah, you can actually have it at 59 and a half for the first time. Most plans, Brad, will allow you to roll those funds out.
In-service rollovers.
An in-service rollover, 59 and a half. Most people don't know that because they're not
non-taxable.
retired yet.
Yep.
They just think, well, I have to keep my money in here until I'm retired. No. A lot of plans, though they won't broadcast this certainly to you.
They
say
want your
for
money.
The first, sure, they want to keep that money for as long as possible. But that may be not to your advantage because in your own mind you're managing this, but it's not your specialty. So for the first time when you turn 59 and a half, you have an option for most plans to have that money rolled out of there and professionally managed.
Yep.
This is my question because it sparks me as soon as you say that. There are some good 401ks and there are some bad 401ks. How do I know whether I'm in a bad 401k if I'm the manager of that? Isn't this at the point where we say, the do-it-yourselfers who've been saying, okay, I'm doing okay, wouldn't it be nice to have an expert like
Absolutely.
Jeremy or Lance take a look at my 401k plan and find out what I'm in and whether or not I have options? The difference from fiduciary independent advisors like you guys are, you have options
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
that 401ks do not.
Absolutely.
For sure. And we can do a lot to, look under the rug, so to speak.
Yeah.
Find the good, the bad, and the ugly in stock portfolios or 401ks. We can see the bright spots, the other parts that are lagging behind. One of my frustrations with 401ks is that we try to find the fees that people are paying in their 401ks, but good luck because they can be hidden and they're deep and they're varied. Most people don't realize they're paying any fees in their 401k. And I guess you might as well think that because it's impossible to tell. It's one of my frustrations with them. I don't know why shouldn't people be told what they're paying in fees? 401ks, for some reason, seem to hide them and say, you're not paying anything in fees.
Right,
And
which we know is ridiculous.
There's fees somewhere.
Right, exactly.
But you don't get to know about them.
The other thing is that's important is we can do an X-ray analysis of the portfolio and see how the portfolio is allocated for risk.
Yep.
So we'll try to flesh out what fees that we can find within the portfolio when we do that analysis as well. And we'll also probably more critically try to find out how you are allocated in terms of risk. And a lot of times what I have found is that many people have not changed their risk allocations for many, many years.
Yeah.
And so in other words, their risk is like way out here still. And they're within a 3 to 5 year window of retirement. Well, when you start saving in your retirement, yes, you kind of do, especially if you're in your 20s, you want to be kind of pedal to the metal. Let's see how far we can get with this thing. But as you get closer to that retirement age, what we want to do is dial back that risk over time. We're more focused on principle because we want to make those funds last as long as you do in your retirement.
I want to talk about something else that has really become popular over the last 5 years with the 401ks, because the government wants their money whenever they can get their money. So in the debt that the government has, which is approaching 37 trillion now. Roth 401ks have become popular within companies. And as you say, you can't find out about 401ks. Sometimes you don't even know that your company has opened a Roth 401k.
True statement.
Before we go
Very
to
good
break,
statement.
can we talk about the idea of, should I still contribute up to my match, but maybe past that if my company has, and I can ask HR, contribute more to my Roth 401k as I approach this, and maybe move my money out of a 401k from what I'm doing right now to let you guys manage that kind of thing?
Absolutely. And as you said, Brad, many times when companies have 401ks, they may have introduced a Roth component. And again, maybe something flashed out in a memo or an email or something
you
that
didn't
nobody
see.
read, and
Yeah.
it went to your spam and blah, 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 that we now have a Roth. Well, call your HR and ask them if you do have a Roth, because you could take, let's say you're contributing 10% of your paycheck every time you get paid to your 401k. Well, whatever the match is, doesn't really matter. As long as you're contributing 10%, they're going to match up to whatever the match is. 3, 5, 6, 10%, whatever it is. Most companies are 3 to 6%.
Right.
So instead of putting all of your money into the pre-tax traditional 401k, well, maybe take 5% of that and put it into the Roth. If they have a Roth, that's power. Why? Because once the money's in the Roth chassis, it will never, ever be taxed again, even on the gains forever.
It's really a gift. Honestly, the employer is looking after their employees when they offer Roth 401ks. Most employers don't realize it. I think it's important to highlight it. Your employer actually is offering this, and it could be, in your situation, the best thing that's ever happened. So let's take advantage of it if it's appropriate.
Let's go into the federal system, the state system when we come back. But the idea is, look, you may have already heard something that you hadn't heard from your advisor. Maybe you haven't heard from your employer. The idea is, how do you keep the most money in your pocket? And how do we create growth and make sure that your retirement is going to last? Experts know what you have. And maybe more than the do-it-yourselfers have got, hold it, I haven't heard this before? Make a call, 877-241-7430, a complimentary financial review to answer some of these questions. Hey, I've just heard this for the first time. Can you take a look at what I have and maybe put together a complimentary plan for me? Within that, all of this is within the book, Conquering Retirement. This is what we do. At Northern Alliance, they're trying to put together a plan that makes your retirement last. And yours is different than anybody else's. You've been waiting long enough. Make the call, scan the QR code. Let's put together a plan for you. We'll talk about the Fed and the state system of retirement when we return.
Our team at Northern Alliance is very diverse in terms of the services that we offer.
We do take a team-based approach.
We carry multiple licenses so that clients can do everything within the Northern Alliance financial team.
If it has anything to do with retirement, that's what we specialize in.
Budget planning, tax considerations, Social Security strategies, risk management, long-term care, Medicare, health planning, as well as legal and estate planning.
We really are a one-stop shop.
There's Lance, Gilman, Peter Hansen, Jeremy Barnard, myself. We do have a staff that is great.
In Maine, we have multiple locations to cover the vast array of the state.
You know, you can come in and have a conversation in person. And a lot of people are looking for these days. Things after COVID have changed to more Zoom, phone call sort of things. And we'll do those things, but we appreciate and would rather have you come in person and have a conversation face to face like this.
We're pretty approachable, and we're going to listen to you. We're going to try to determine what your needs, your aspirations, those goals are, and then we're going to do everything that we possibly can to help you meet those goals.
It's lighthearted, it's carefree. We laugh like crazy. An atmosphere that I don't think is common in a lot of other practices.
We were talking about how well the team is bonding together, how similarly we all think in that what we do, we want to actually make a difference.
Average everyday people helping average everyday people.
You know, we truly do put the client first.
Our mantra has been, when you take care of people, people take care of you.
Thanks so much for being with us on Conquering Retirement. Brad Johansson with Northern Alliance Financial, Lance Gilman, Jeremy Barnard. We're talking about how you save for retirement, the vehicles that you have, 401ks, We spent some time on that. We need to look into Roth 401ks. That's probably homework for you right now. The idea is what's different about the federal retirement system. And things are changing, rules are changing. I want you to take me into what's different about the federal retirement system in Maine.
Yeah, well, it's not just Maine, but the federal retirement system in general has 3 different components to it. It's got your pension, and it's got your Social Security, which most people have. They've got 401k and they've got their Social Security, but then this last component is their savings plan. So basically, when you combine these together, a pension, Social Security, and a thrift savings plan, that's a 3-tiered plan. It's very, very powerful. But I want to kind of roll back a little bit to first segment.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in the federal system, Brad, have old 401ks. Oh. They got old 401ks that they work, because these are people in the medical field, Brad. So they work a lot of times many different places, and then they might work at the general hospital for X number of years, and they were there for 5 or 8 years. And then all of a sudden a position opens up within the Veterans Association hospital, and they apply and they get that position. They've got that old 401k.
That they've done what with?
Nothing.
See, that they've forgotten.
You're
about.
telling me
About it.
something that I've heard so many times.
Yeah.
How do people have forgotten 401ks and yet it's become very common?
Oh my gosh, because people bounce around, to Lance's point, they bounce around to different jobs, and I think the average American now has about 7 different jobs throughout their career, I believe is the number.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they're, 401ks are everywhere, they're very prevalent, and if you're jumping jobs, it's easy to forget about that 401k. Interestingly enough, and sadly, I noticed that my own sister had a Roth IRA
kidding.
that was left behind, and I found it out by searching the Maine.gov unclaimed property website. So we got her Roth 401k under her own umbrella and managing it forward. But randomly, I found that for her, and it happens all the time that people forget about these accounts because they're old and they maybe just don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people deal with a lot of negative self-talk and emotions because they're like, oh, I feel stupid that I don't remember what that was, or gosh, what all these things, I'll just forget about it. We're here to remember it and make it part of your overall plan. Let's consolidate these things and make sure they're working hard for you.
Right, because the other real problem with that situation is, let's say you do have some old 401ks that are out there, and you have an idea that they're out there.
Yep.
But what most people don't know is remember we talked about the age 59 and a half,
right.
That's a huge benchmark.
Yep.
And people think, well, when I retire, I'm going to be able to move my 401k, which is true. When you retire, you get to retirement age, you can move your 401k. And when you get to 59 and a half, you could move your 401k and get somebody professional to manage it. But here's another fact that most people don't know. Once you've severed employment, you've left employment, now those funds become available to do the exact same thing with. As if you've retired or hit 59 and a half, you can take those funds and get them to a professional that they can manage for you.
Which are the lost 401ks
Yes.
that they left sitting.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the federal system or you're in any other system, those funds become available. I had a federal employee come to my office, and doctors are sometimes the worst enemies of this because they've got stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
And so here's a doctor in the federal system, had an old 401k where she started, and this was like 20 years ago. When we did some research, her ex-husband was 100% beneficiary to that 401k.
sure.
So not only are there financial implications, there are beneficiary implications.
Yeah.
That's why we got to take a look at all these things that you might have access to that you don't even know about.
Okay.
Whenever we talk about these topics, especially something as foundational and critical as 401ks, it always brings to mind how, the education that we've been given as Americans about 401ks, even the most basic things, it's missing, it's lacking. We're here to
That is
obviously
true.
backfill, the federal government and the rules and all this stuff, but educating yourself on 401ks is critically important. We're here to help for sure. What you don't know can certainly hurt you.
Are there Social Security questions with the federal and the state system that you have to pay attention to as well?
Thankfully, not as much anymore with the Social Security Fairness Act.
With rules
Yeah.
change.
Yeah,
With the
it's
rule
a
change.
beautiful change that Honestly, I had a dozen donuts bet against this law getting passed.
That wasn't too bad of a bet, though, Jeremy.
Well, because it's been proposed, I believe, 13 times in the past to allow.
And shot down.
Yeah, and shot down.
Yeah.
To allow state of Maine employees and other states as well, but to receive their full Social Security benefits and not get penalized. This has come forward 13 previous times, got voted down, but this time came through. So now recipients of state pensions can also receive, if they earn a Social Security benefit, they can get their full Social Security with no penalties. It's a beautiful thing, a huge change, big win for Maine.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, but within the federal system, I'll be talking about the federal system as well as the state with the passage of that Social Security Fairness Act. Those that were under the old federal system, which is the CSRS system, now replaced by the FERS system, the CSRS system, similar to Maine State retirees, did not pay into Social Security. So guess what? They would have had the reductions for the WEP and the GPO. So not only are the state employees now eligible for that, but the old federal retirees are eligible for it as well.
Yeah.
It's a huge, huge knockout of the park. So if you don't have an idea whether you qualify for this or not, give us a call because we can help you try to flush out those benefits that you may not be aware that you're eligible for.
This is kind of what we talk about with legislative risk all the time, is that the government can change the rules whenever they want. And actually, sometimes it's rare, but sometimes they benefit you. This may be one of those situations. And why don't you play with the rules you know while they stay where they are? This is why you need questions answered by professionals who understand what the rules are. You make the call, 877-241-7430. And this is an opportunity to get a complimentary financial plan, a written financial plan that understands all of the answers to the questions that you may have. Scan the QR code, come in for a complimentary plan. I know you've been watching, many of you, for a long time. Don't wait any longer. Let's make you have advantage of the rules that are played with right now. Do it. 877-241-7430. We'll be right back.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Always glad you are with us on Conquering Retirement. Brad Johansson with Northern Alliance Financial, Lance Gilman, Jeremy Barnard. We're talking about the system and the rules that you have in place, what you've been told to do. 401ks. Do we have a Roth 401k now that we have an option for? Do we have other options to move it out so that we have more options with people who know what they're doing instead of what your company wants you to do? We're talking about the state and federal system. What have we missed in any of this? We've talked about Social Security. We've talked about the change in rules. We're moving forward, and a lot of people say, okay, I've got my portfolio. I understand some of this. And you say to them, so what's your plan? And they go, well, here it is.
My statement.
Here's my statement. What's the difference in actually having a plan? When we change all of these rules, the government changes all these rules. When we have to play within the rules, what's the importance of adjusting to creating some sort of plan? Because we had a plan for what we were going to work for a long time, right? Now we seem to fail, many of us Americans, to plan for the next 30 years about how that's going to look. What does putting together a plan and coming to you guys actually look like?
I say it looks like just a little bit of work. To simply put, these things don't magically happen on our own. Money doesn't just grow, and income doesn't just happen from this, nest egg approach that we have now taken as a by and large in America. We've replaced pensions with 401ks by and large, which there's advantages and disadvantages to that. But again, one of the disadvantages is income just doesn't occur or it doesn't last as long as we want it to without a little bit of work. It doesn't take a ton of time, but if we don't keep our finger on the pulse on how this nest egg retirement plan of yours is performing on a year-to-year basis, then it can get out of whack really quickly. Income can dry up, and people in their most vulnerable times can find themselves lacking in significant ways. So a little bit of work is what I would say.
And I think the other piece of it too is that a lot of people think that having a financial advisor is for just the wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't need to think that way. If you're watching this show and you are looking for help, then we are here to help you. Whether you've got a 401k and you might have kind of orphaned 401ks out there somewhere you're not really sure about, or if you're in the state or federal system, you're concerned about, well, what if I am eligible to receive some more Social Security benefits that I'm not aware I was eligible for? What if I'm in the old CSRS component of the federal retirement system and that now plays into me? What about the spousal benefits? There's all kinds of questions. What about this? What about this? Well, I mean, that's what we're here for. Is we're here to help you with the what about this, and not only just with your retirement system, maybe your 401k, but all of the components of a comprehensive system, which would include your portfolio, your Social Security, long-term care, risk management, tax considerations, Medicare.
Yep.
And your estate and legal documents. That's what a comprehensive plan is involved in. And it all comes together, but it's got to be coordinated, and it's coordinated with a financial advisor. That's why we're here.
I love what you're saying too, Lance, about the fact that you don't have to be whatever wealthy is in America. That's a very individual perspective on what wealth is. But we don't have limits. Like some firms, you have to have X number of dollars before we're going to meet with you. We're here to help everybody of of any size or of income or anything like that. We're here to answer questions to as many people as possible.
Day in and day out. And the idea is this is what they do to create an individual plan that's just for you. Make the call to 877-241-7430. Scan the QR code. It may be high time for you to get a second opinion, put together a complimentary written financial plan. Do it now. Thanks for spending time with us today. Can't wait to see you in the office. And we'll be right back here next time. Thanks for joining us.